Some people possess an invisible strength that allows them to overcome life's challenges and find their path to success without unnecessary effort. This strength is not innate. It is accessible to anyone willing to follow certain principles. Today, we will explore 11 key Stoic principles that can help you gain this strength, fortify your inner core, and learn to control your emotions even in the most difficult situations. These strategies can not only transform your perspective on life but also give you a decisive advantage on your journey toward your goals. If this is your first time on this channel or you're already part of our community, I encourage you to stay until the end to discover each of these principles. One of them might be the missing piece that changes your life forever. Are you ready to take on this challenge? Then let's begin. One of the key principles of Stoicism is the conscious decision to refrain from discussing your problems with others. We live in a world where social pressure pushes us to constantly share our difficulties, whether with friends, family, or even on social media. However, according to Stoic teachings from philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, this habit can weaken us. When we talk about our problems, we unconsciously seek pity or approval, which distracts us from finding real solutions. Instead, the Stoics encourage focusing on actions and maintaining emotional balance. Imagine a situation: you're facing challenges at work, a project has stalled, and your colleagues are causing frustration. Instead of venting to others and seeking comfort, a Stoic-minded individual takes a pause for reflection. They analyze the issue, avoiding unnecessary emotions, and seek practical solutions. This approach helps preserve inner strength and keeps the focus on actions rather than complaints. It's important to remember that discussing your troubles makes you vulnerable to the opinions of others, which are often far from constructive. Moreover, unsolicited advice or criticism can drain your energy and confidence. When we refrain from talking about our problems, we retain control over our narrative and avoid unnecessary judgment. Every time we share our disappointments, we risk encountering opinions that only complicate the situation further. Solving challenges independently strengthens our autonomy and self-assurance. It demonstrates character strength and self-control. Instead of relying on external validation, we cultivate inner confidence fueled by decisive actions. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that how we respond to challenges is what truly matters. Our reactions define our strength. Every challenge we overcome, especially in silence, makes us stronger and teaches us to act effectively. Keeping silent about our problems is not a sign of weakness but a manifestation of wisdom. It allows us to stay focused on our goals without being distracted by external irritants. It's essential to remember that the energy spent on complaints could be used to seek solutions. In this way, silence becomes not just a strategy but a tool to help us cope with any difficulty. The second important principle of Stoicism states, do not reveal your secrets. In a world where social media and the need for recognition push us to share every aspect of our lives, Stoic wisdom offers the opposite approach. When we share our plans, dreams, and goals, we not only expose them to external criticism but also create unnecessary pressure on ourselves. Stoics like Seneca and Epictetus taught that restraint in words protects our intentions from the influence of others' expectations and judgments. Every time we share our ideas, we open the door to potential demotivation, doubts, and even envy. Revealing our plans often gives us a fleeting sense of satisfaction, as if we've already accomplished something. In reality, this moment distracts us from the hard work required to achieve our goals. Imagine you've decided to launch a project, such as writing a book or starting a business. If you begin discussing it with friends or posting about it on social media, you immediately become a target for comments, unsolicited advice, and judgments that may shake your confidence. Ultimately, you risk losing clarity in your vision, allowing external opinions to distort your goals. Stoics believe that restraint is a powerful weapon. When you keep your plans private, you create a space for them to develop freely. This helps you avoid distractions and focus on what truly matters, taking action. As Seneca said, don't talk about your dreams, prove them with your actions. Actions speak louder than words, and their results are far more meaningful than external validation. Moreover, revealing your intentions too early creates expectations from others, which can increase pressure. Picture someone who announces they're adopting a healthier lifestyle, only to face constant questions and criticism from those around them. Instead of focusing on their progress, they're forced to respond to comments, defend themselves, and justify their decisions. This diverts attention from the real work and makes achieving the goal more challenging. Keeping your plans secret helps you avoid the influence of others' opinions and stay focused on your actions. When you don't share your intentions, you maintain control over your story and your actions. You shield your ideas from destructive forces, creating conditions where they can flourish at their own pace. This also builds an aura of mystery and strength around you. People who act silently often command respect. Their confidence and determination inspire more than empty words ever could. Restraint doesn't mean rejecting support altogether. It's important to find the right people who can genuinely help, but you should only trust your plans to those who respect your goals and won't undermine your confidence. This approach teaches us discernment and the understanding that our ideas are valuable. By keeping your intentions to yourself, you not only protect your plans but also develop a habit of acting with purpose. You free yourself from the need for external approval, allowing you to maintain independence. As Marcus Aurelius said, our happiness and success depend on our actions, not the opinions of others. This principle helps build inner strength, which becomes the foundation for resilience and confidence. So, the next time you set a new goal, think twice before sharing it. Let your actions speak for themselves. The third principle of Stoicism teaches us not to boast about our achievements. In a world where social media encourages us to showcase every success, Stoic wisdom advises focusing on the process rather than external recognition. Boasting creates a false sense of completion, distracts us from further work, and makes us vulnerable to the judgments of others. When we share our achievements, we often encounter envy or disapproval, even if we don't realize it. Such reactions can undermine our confidence and lead to unnecessary emotional burdens. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca emphasized that the true value of accomplishments lies in personal growth, not in external praise. When we act solely for recognition, we lose sight of the deeper reasons behind our actions. For instance, someone who has overcome a difficult challenge might feel tempted to share it with others to gain approval. However, if they focus instead on the lessons learned from the process, their achievements will hold a far deeper meaning. Constantly seeking recognition distracts us from the process of growth itself. It forces us to evaluate ourselves through the lens of others' opinions, making us dependent on external validation. However, by keeping our achievements private, we shield ourselves from unnecessary pressure and allow ourselves to enjoy the results on a more personal level. Focusing on the process rather than the outcome helps maintain inner peace. Remaining silent about our achievements also helps avoid unnecessary comparisons. When we share our successes, we unconsciously invite others to compare them to their own, which can breed envy or insecurity in those around us. Moreover, we may find ourselves comparing our accomplishments to others, leading to anxiety and disappointment. Stoics believe our energy should be directed toward self-improvement, not proving or justifying ourselves to others. Keeping our successes to ourselves enables us to focus on the next step rather than becoming complacent with what we've already achieved. True strength lies not in flaunting our victories but in continuing to grow. Every success is merely a stepping stone, not an end goal. By remaining silent about our achievements, we preserve the space needed for further development and avoid the trap of self-satisfaction. For example, consider someone who achieves significant milestones in their career but chooses not to publicize their accomplishments. Instead, they quietly focus on new projects. This approach allows them to avoid distractions from others' opinions and stay committed to their long-term goals. Moreover, this silence fosters humility, one of the key virtues of Stoicism. Humility reminds us that our achievements are not always solely the result of our efforts. They often depend on many factors, such as support from others and favorable circumstances. Recognizing this keeps us open to new experiences and helps us avoid vanity. Stoics assert that the true joy of success comes from inner fulfillment, not external applause. By remaining silent about our achievements, we also strengthen our resilience. We learn to find satisfaction in the process rather than in the applause. This makes us less dependent on the opinions of others and more confident in our abilities. Ultimately, the ability to enjoy our successes without sharing them with the world is a sign of maturity and inner strength. So, the next time you achieve something significant, consider keeping it to yourself. Let your actions speak for you. Don't boast about your achievements, instead, focus on how they help you grow and become better. The Stoics remind us that the true value of success lies in how it shapes us, not in what others think about it. The fourth principle of Stoicism emphasizes the power of strategic silence. In a world where people rush to speak first to assert their position or defend themselves, Stoic wisdom offers a different approach. The ability to speak less and listen more provides the opportunity to make wiser and more deliberate decisions. Silence becomes a tool for controlling emotions and a shield against impulsive reactions that often exacerbate situations. Stoics like Seneca and Epictetus believe that silence allows us to reflect on our responses and act with greater clarity. Imagine finding yourself in a heated discussion at work. The natural urge is to respond quickly, defend your position, or counter the other person's arguments. However, strategic silence encourages taking a pause to let emotions settle. This prevents rash words that could escalate the conflict and provides time to craft a more measured response. It's important to remember that silence is not a sign of weakness; on the contrary, it demonstrates inner strength and confidence. Those who practice silence are often perceived as wiser and more composed. Silence also helps us better understand the situation. By listening attentively, we pick up not only the words but also the emotions behind them. This allows us to gain a deeper understanding of the other person's motives and choose the most appropriate response. In conflicts, silence becomes a bridge to reconciliation rather than a weapon for escalation. Stoics believe that every time we resist impulsive words, we preserve our inner peace. Silence gives us control over our emotions and helps us avoid the trap of emotional reactions. When someone says something hurtful, we can choose not to respond immediately. This pause gives us time to consider whether the comment deserves our attention and whether engaging in the conflict is worthwhile. Marcus Aurelius wrote that our reaction to external irritants is always within our control, and only we can decide how to respond. Additionally, silence is a way to maintain the confidentiality of our thoughts and intentions. Oversharing can make us vulnerable to manipulation or criticism. Strategic silence creates an aura of mystery around us, strengthening our position in negotiations or challenging situations. People who master the art of silence avoid giving reasons for disputes and earn greater respect. Silence is also valuable in personal relationships. When a loved one expresses their emotions, it's important to simply listen rather than interrupt or impose our opinion. This approach builds trust and makes communication deeper. People appreciate being heard rather than being argued with. The ability to listen is a gift that fosters emotional connections and strengthens relationships. In professional settings, silence can be a powerful asset. Imagine participating in an important meeting where critical decisions are being made. Instead of rushing to respond, it's strategically wise to wait, think, and speak only when your input will truly make an impact. This demonstrates analytical thinking and bolsters your reputation as a reliable and thoughtful individual. The practice of silence teaches us patience. In a world obsessed with instant solutions, Stoics remind us that haste rarely leads to quality outcomes. Every pause is an opportunity to analyze the situation, weigh arguments, and make an informed choice. Silence not only helps us focus on our thoughts but also keeps us calm in the most challenging circumstances. Stoics believe that true strength lies in self-control. Silence serves as an exercise in developing this quality. The more we practice mindful silence, the better we manage our reactions. This ability helps us maintain composure even in situations where others lose their temper. Silence also protects us from saying things we might regret. How many times in arguments or emotional moments have we said something we wished we could take back? By practicing silence, we reduce the risk of such situations. We create space for more thoughtful and constructive responses. Moreover, silence can be a source of inner energy. In moments of quiet, we become more aware of our thoughts and emotions, enabling us to make wiser decisions. Silence is not merely the absence of words, it is an active process of reflection and analysis. It allows us to detach from the noise of the external world and focus on what truly matters. In this way, strategic silence is a powerful tool for managing emotions, making better decisions, and maintaining inner peace. The Stoics taught that the ability to remain silent is key to a calmer and more purposeful life. The next time you face a conflict or a challenging situation, try practicing silence. You'll find that it not only helps you avoid unnecessary words but also makes your actions more deliberate and effective. The fifth principle of Stoicism teaches us to avoid talking about others. The Stoics believed that focusing on the faults, shortcomings, or actions of others distracts us from our own growth. When we discuss others, we lose energy that could be directed toward improving our own lives. Criticism or gossip about someone else may seem harmless, but it undermines our inner peace and creates unnecessary tension. Marcus Aurelius wrote that true dignity lies in focusing on our own actions rather than judging others. Every time we talk about someone else, we unintentionally invite negativity into our lives, whether envy, dissatisfaction, or frustration triggered by comparison. The Stoics argued that this behavior prevents us from focusing on what truly matters. Instead of analyzing others' actions, it's better to ask, what can I do to improve myself? Self-development begins when we turn our attention inward rather than outward. Talking about others often leads to unnecessary conflict. Words spoken behind someone's back tend to resurface, creating tension in relationships. Additionally, by criticizing others, we inevitably diminish their trust in us. People value those who speak directly and openly, rather than those who spread rumors or gossip. The Stoics taught that our character is shaped not by what we say about others, but by how we speak about ourselves and our values. Speaking poorly about others damages not only their reputation but also our own. Every time we engage in discussions about someone else's flaws, we present ourselves in a less favorable light. We may believe that pointing out others' mistakes makes us appear better, but in reality, it erodes the respect others have for us. The Stoics remind us that true strength lies in focusing on ourselves and our lives, rather than dwelling on the weaknesses of others. Refraining from discussions about others allows us to preserve our inner peace. When we don't waste time talking about what others are doing or not doing, we create space for self-reflection. This helps us better understand our goals and values. For example, instead of discussing a colleague's behavior, it's more constructive to think about how we can enhance our professional skills. This behavior not only strengthens our character but also fosters a healthier atmosphere around us. Talking about others often leads to pointless comparisons. We start measuring our achievements against theirs, which can generate either envy or a false sense of superiority. However, the Stoics teach that neither contributes to our inner growth. It's important to focus on our own actions and stop evaluating ourselves through the lens of others' successes or failures. Words spoken about others rarely have constructive value. Instead, they create a negative atmosphere that harms both us and those around us. Choosing not to speak about others demonstrates maturity and emotional intelligence. People who avoid gossip and judgment are generally more respected in society. The Stoics believe that silence in such cases is a sign of wisdom and self-control. For example, in a workplace situation, instead of discussing a colleague's mistakes, offering constructive ideas to improve the overall result is far more productive. This approach helps maintain a positive atmosphere and builds trust within the team. The Stoics taught that every time we choose to focus on ourselves rather than on others, we grow stronger. When we concentrate on our actions, we become less susceptible to external irritations. People who frequently discuss others often depend on external opinions and assessments. However, the Stoics argue that independence from external approval is key to inner peace. By ceasing to talk about others, we protect our energy and channel it toward achieving our own goals. Negative conversations about others can become a habit that undermines our well-being. Constantly focusing on others' flaws makes us more critical and less happy. In contrast, refraining from discussing others' mistakes helps maintain a positive outlook and focus. The Stoics believe that every time we choose not to talk about someone, we strengthen our resilience. Instead of discussing others' errors, it's more useful to ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? This approach directs attention toward self-improvement. For example, if you see someone making a mistake, consider how you can avoid it in your own life. This focus on self-development turns others' mistakes into lessons for yourself. When we avoid talking about others, we create an atmosphere of trust and respect. People feel safer around those who don't judge or gossip about them behind their backs. This strengthens relationships and makes interactions more genuine. The Stoics taught that strength of character is shown through respecting others, even if we disagree with their actions. So, the next time you find yourself in a situation where someone is being discussed, ask yourself what benefit the conversation brings you. Chances are, none. Instead, redirect your thoughts toward how you can improve yourself. This principle of Stoicism helps not only preserve inner peace but also sets an example for others to follow. The sixth principle of Stoicism teaches us that good deeds should be done for their intrinsic value, not for recognition or praise. The Stoics believe that true virtue manifests when a person acts kindly without expecting any reward. Often, people feel compelled to showcase their good deeds to gain approval or admiration, but this contradicts Stoic ideals. When virtue becomes a form of self-promotion, its true value is lost. Seneca taught that good deeds should be performed quietly, without noise or expectation. Good deeds done for recognition turn altruism into a transaction. We begin to judge our actions by how they appear to others, rather than by their actual impact. The Stoics emphasize that virtue is not a means to an end but an end in itself. A person who helps others for recognition loses the sincerity of their actions. By performing good deeds in silence, we free ourselves from the need to depend on the opinions of others. By keeping our good deeds private, we protect their purity. This allows us to focus on the essence of the act itself. For example, if you help a friend in a difficult situation, your motivation should be the desire to help, not the intention to tell others about it. This approach makes your actions genuine and deeply meaningful. In a world where social media encourages us to display every step of our lives, the Stoic idea of quiet virtue is especially relevant. We have grown accustomed to sharing achievements and even acts of kindness to showcase our value. However, the Stoics argue that true value lies in doing good quietly. This practice teaches us to focus on the essence of the deed rather than its external effect. An example of this is someone who anonymously donates to charity. They do so not for praise, but to help others. Such actions strengthen inner virtue and bring a deep sense of satisfaction. Seneca wrote that true goodness does not need witnesses, its strength lies in the act itself. When we perform good deeds for attention, we undermine their sincerity. Over time, this can lead to our motivation relying solely on external factors. For instance, someone who only helps when others notice may gradually lose the intrinsic drive to do good. The Stoics warn that this approach erodes a true understanding of virtue. Hidden acts of kindness help fortify our character. When we perform them for their intrinsic value, we learn to be honest with ourselves. This frees us from constantly seeking recognition and allows us to focus on what truly matters. Such behavior strengthens our inner resilience and makes us more self-sufficient. The Stoics also emphasized that public displays of good deeds can lead to unnecessary comparisons. People begin to measure each other by the visible amount of goodness, turning virtue into a competition. This process dilutes the meaning of the acts themselves. To avoid this, the Stoics recommended practicing silence about our good deeds. By doing good in silence, we free ourselves from the pressure of others' expectations. We don't need to prove our worth through actions, it is already inherent in the deeds themselves. This creates space for inner growth and reinforces confidence in our principles. Acts of kindness performed in secrecy often carry more weight than those displayed publicly. For example, consider someone who helps a stranger on the street without telling anyone. This action reflects their true values and shows that they act not for attention but from an internal desire to help. The Stoics believe this is the essence of true virtue. In today's world, such practice may seem challenging, but its benefits are invaluable. It helps eliminate the egoism often associated with showcasing good deeds. We begin to value the actions themselves, not their reception by others. This transforms our perception of virtue and helps us focus on what truly matters. Good deeds performed without expectation of recognition strengthen our connection to our core values. They teach us to be sincere and independent of external approval. Seneca said that a true person does not need praise for their good deeds, the deeds themselves are the reward. This approach fosters humility, which is one of the key virtues of Stoicism. When we remain silent about our good deeds, we demonstrate inner strength and confidence. We do not need validation from others to feel good about ourselves. This frees us from constantly proving our worth and allows us to focus on our true values. The Stoics believed that this mindset strengthens character and liberates us from the influence of the external world. An essential aspect of this principle is its impact on others. When people see you doing good without seeking attention, they come to respect you even more. This inspires others to follow your example and makes the world a bit better. Humility in good deeds fosters an atmosphere of trust and sincerity. Thus, hidden acts of kindness preserve their true meaning. They teach us to be honest, sincere, and independent of others' opinions. This strengthens our character and brings us closer to the ideals of Stoicism. As Marcus Aurelius said, virtue lies in actions, not words. By doing good without expectations, we gain more than we can imagine. We strengthen our spirit, develop inner resilience, and find true satisfaction in life. This is the Stoic path, to live according to your values, not seeking praise, but finding joy in the deeds themselves. The seventh principle of Stoicism emphasizes the importance of keeping your dreams and plans private until they are realized. When we share our ambitions with others, we open the door to opinions, criticisms, and expectations that can affect how we perceive our own goals. Stoics like Seneca advised, let your actions speak for you, not your words. This means that instead of talking about what you plan to do, it is better to focus on accomplishing it. Discussing your plans too early can weaken your motivation. This happens because simply talking about your goals creates a false sense of accomplishment. When people praise your ideas, that praise provides temporary satisfaction, replacing the drive to achieve real results. As a result, you lose the energy and focus needed to bring your plans to fruition. Keeping your intentions private protects them from external influence. The fewer people know about your plans, the less they can interfere or impose their opinions. For example, if you decide to start a new project, it is better to focus on the work rather than sharing it with others. This helps maintain clarity and avoids unnecessary pressure. The Stoics also believed that revealing your dreams makes you vulnerable to others' expectations. When you share your plans, people begin to monitor your actions, creating additional stress. You may feel obligated to meet their expectations, which distracts from your true purpose. To avoid this, it is important to keep your intentions to yourself. Keeping your dreams private allows space for creativity and freedom. When you work on your goals in silence, you have more opportunities to experiment, try new things, and adjust your approach. External criticism can limit these opportunities, causing you to doubt your ideas. In silence, you retain control over your process. Secrecy also helps avoid unnecessary competition. When others learn about your plans, they may begin comparing themselves to you or even competing with you. This can distract you from your work and create additional tension. The Stoics emphasize that energy should be directed inward, not wasted on external conflicts. Additionally, keeping your plans to yourself preserves internal motivation. When you work for your own goals rather than for recognition, you feel a greater sense of satisfaction from the process. For example, a writer who doesn't tell anyone about their book until it's finished experiences the joy of creation rather than anticipation of praise. This inner satisfaction strengthens resilience and confidence. The Stoics also warn that prematurely revealing your plans could distort them. Well-meaning advice from others can lead you off course. Instead of following your vision, you might start adapting to others' ideas of what is right. This weakens your ability to act according to your own values. An example of this could be a budding entrepreneur. If they share their business ideas with a wide audience, they risk facing a wave of unsolicited opinions that might confuse them or cause self-doubt. By keeping their plans private, they can focus on product development and strategy, staying true to their vision. Maintaining secrecy around your plans creates an aura of mystery. People begin to respect those who act quietly and achieve success without unnecessary talk. This respect is based on visible results, not empty promises. Such an approach strengthens your reputation as a person of action rather than words. The Stoics also believed that keeping plans private helps avoid disappointment. When you share your dreams but fail to achieve them, it can feel like a public failure. However, if you keep your goals to yourself, you retain the space to make mistakes and learn without undue attention. This makes the process more comfortable and productive. It is important to note that secrecy does not mean isolation. You can trust your plans to those who truly support you and can provide constructive advice. The Stoics emphasize the importance of surrounding yourself with reliable people who help rather than hinder your path. Secrecy also helps maintain focus. When you are not distracted by explaining or justifying yourself to others, you can direct all your energy toward action. This is especially important when working on complex or long-term projects. The fewer distractions, the higher the chances of success. In a world where social media encourages us to share every step, keeping your dreams private becomes an act of resistance. It allows you to focus on what truly matters rather than how it looks to others. This approach strengthens your independence and decision-making ability. The Stoics also believed that keeping plans private helps build confidence. You begin to trust your inner voice rather than relying on external approval. This makes you more self-sufficient and resilient in the face of challenges. An example of this is an athlete who trains in silence, not telling anyone about their progress until the competition. This allows them to focus on their results rather than others' expectations. As a result, their success becomes well-earned and free from external pressure. The eighth principle of Stoicism revolves around the art of solitude, which plays a vital role in achieving inner peace and self-development. In modern times, solitude is often viewed negatively, but for the Stoics, it was a source of strength and self-discovery. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that time spent in solitude allows one to hear their inner voice and focus on true values. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, we often lose touch with our own thoughts, letting the external world shape our perceptions. Solitude provides a space to restore balance. In silence and seclusion, clarity of thought emerges. It's a time to ask important questions: what truly matters to me, and am I acting in line with my principles? Being alone with oneself requires courage, as it means confronting the true nature of one's thoughts and emotions. Yet, within this confrontation lies the opportunity for growth. The Stoics believed that solitude strengthens the spirit, helping us break free from dependence on others' opinions. An example of this is someone taking a solitary walk to reflect on an important decision. Such moments provide focus and clarity, helping them uncover answers that are often drowned out by the noise of public opinion. Like a gardener tending to their garden in silence, a person seeking solitude nurtures their inner world. Solitude is not an escape from society but a way to return to oneself with renewed strength and clarity. Solitude also helps manage emotional overload. Daily life often overwhelms us with interactions, information, and responsibilities. Retreating into solitude allows us to disconnect from this noise and replenish our energy. Even 10 minutes of silence can have a profound effect on our mental and physical state. These moments offer not only calmness but also a chance to evaluate our actions and consider their significance and consequences. Moreover, solitude is a source of creativity. Many great philosophers and artists found inspiration in moments of seclusion. Albert Einstein, for instance, remarked that silence and solitude are essential for developing new ideas. When alone, the mind is free from the pressure of others' opinions, opening up new horizons. Solitude becomes fertile ground for self-expression and creativity. Solitude also builds resilience to stress. When we are alone, we learn to face and analyze our emotions, finding ways to manage them. This internal strength enables us to face challenges with confidence. Marcus Aurelius wrote that external circumstances should not disturb our peace, and solitude helps cultivate this resilience. The Stoics believed that solitude fosters better decision-making. Constantly being surrounded by others can make our thoughts reactive, influenced by external opinions. Solitude, on the other hand, allows us to develop our own ideas and make decisions rooted in our values and goals. This strengthens confidence in our abilities and helps us move toward what truly matters. An example is a leader taking time to reflect before making a significant decision. This solitude provides the space for analysis and strategic planning that is difficult to achieve amidst daily chaos. Solitude thus becomes an important tool for developing leadership qualities and making wise decisions. It is important to understand that solitude is not isolation. The Stoics did not advocate withdrawing from society but emphasized the need to balance interaction with periods of seclusion. Being alone with oneself helps a person become more effective and genuine in their relationships with others. It allows for recharging energy and returning to people with renewed clarity and strength. Embracing solitude as a part of life unlocks a new level of self-awareness. It helps one be more honest with themselves, acknowledge weaknesses, and work on overcoming them. Solitude becomes a space where transformation and inner growth occur. It fosters patience, focus, and self-confidence. Solitude is not only a time for reflection but also a way to reinforce one's values. When alone, we can ask ourselves, am I living according to what I believe is right? This process enhances mindfulness and strengthens our principles. It makes us stronger individuals, enabling us to act more wisely and consciously in any situation. In a world dominated by constant busyness, the art of solitude becomes an essential skill. It is not a weakness but a strength, the ability to tune out external distractions and focus on the inner self. The Stoics believed that through solitude, one gains the clarity to see the world as it truly is and understand their place in it. It is more than a pause in the chaos, it is a key to a more harmonious and meaningful life. Each of us can find moments for solitude to reflect on our actions, recharge, and achieve inner balance. This doesn't require special conditions, just silence and a willingness to look within. The Stoics teach that solitude is not a retreat from life but a way to be better prepared for its challenges. It is a practice that makes us strong, wise, and confident. The ninth principle of Stoicism, centered on the power of silent listening, teaches us the importance of listening with attention and empathy. In a world where conversations often become competitions for who gets to speak, the ability to listen deeply has become a rare and valuable skill. The Stoics believe that silence during a conversation allows us not only to better understand others but also to maintain inner peace. Seneca emphasized that wisdom often lies not in what we say but in how we listen. When we allow someone to fully express their thoughts, we show respect for their perspective. This creates space for trust and strengthens the bond between people. Silent listening enables us to perceive not only words but also the emotions behind them. Tone of voice, pauses, and nonverbal cues all help us understand what the person truly wants to convey. This approach makes communication more meaningful and effective. Active listening also helps avoid unnecessary conflicts. In arguments or tense situations, the urge to respond immediately often escalates tension. Instead, pausing and listening attentively allows us to identify the root of the issue and respond more wisely. This mirrors the Stoic practice of taking a pause to reflect before acting. Such an approach reduces misunderstandings and helps preserve inner calm. An example might be a workplace scenario where a colleague shares their concerns. If we jump in with advice or defend our position right away, it may come across as dismissive. But by listening without interruption, we demonstrate respect and help them find solutions on their own. This not only strengthens relationships but also fosters mutual respect and trust. Silent listening helps us manage our emotions. By focusing on the words of the other person, we give ourselves time to process our thoughts and reactions. This allows us to avoid impulsive responses and instead choose words that align with our values and long-term goals. Marcus Aurelius wrote that wisdom lies in the ability to respond thoughtfully rather than succumbing to emotions. Moreover, listening cultivates empathy. When we genuinely focus on another's words, we begin to understand their feelings and experiences better. This not only deepens our relationships but also nurtures compassion, a quality the Stoics held in high regard. Instead of judging or criticizing, we learn to see the world through another's eyes. Silence in conversation can be a powerful tool for building trust. People appreciate being truly heard and understood. This is especially important when someone is sharing something personal or going through a difficult time. Silent listening helps them feel validated and supported, which in itself is a profound act of kindness. This deepens the connection and makes the interaction more meaningful. In daily life, the ability to remain silent and listen improves our interactions with others. This applies to both personal and professional relationships. For instance, in a family setting, silent listening can prevent unnecessary arguments, while in the workplace, it can foster respect and collaboration. It's a simple yet effective way to enhance the quality of communication. Attentive listening also teaches us patience. We stop rushing to conclusions and instead delve deeper into the essence of what's being said. This helps us make more informed decisions and act with greater awareness. Instead of reacting automatically, we start asking, what is this person truly trying to convey? Silent listening also helps maintain inner peace. When we listen to another, we free ourselves from the need to prove we're right or defend our viewpoint. This brings a sense of freedom and allows us to focus on the present moment. Such a practice strengthens our self-control and makes us more balanced. Listening is not merely a passive act of receiving information, it's an active process requiring attention and mindfulness. This skill allows us not only to understand others better but also to grow ourselves. The Stoics believed that through understanding others, we gain deeper insight into ourselves, making silent listening an essential part of personal growth. An example might be a conflict where both sides are determined to assert their correctness. If one side decides to pause and simply listen to the other, it can change the course of the conversation. Instead of mutual accusations, the discussion turns into a search for solutions, ultimately leading to a more harmonious outcome. Silent listening is not just a skill but a demonstration of wisdom. It's a practice that helps us become more mindful, empathetic, and balanced. Developing this quality allows us to build stronger relationships and maintain inner peace in any situation. The 10th principle of Stoicism, rooted in the concept of long-term vision, teaches us to focus on the future rather than immediate gratification. In today's world, where the lure of instant rewards is so tempting, Stoic thinking helps us cultivate patience and a strategic approach to life. The Stoics emphasize that true value lies in what we build over time, not in fleeting results. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Do not seek immediate results, strive for lasting progress." By focusing on the long term, our decisions become more meaningful and strategic. We stop wasting energy on things that bring only temporary satisfaction and instead invest in what will benefit us in the future. This principle applies to all areas of life, from finances to health. For example, instead of spending money on trivial items, a Stoic would save for long-term stability. Long-term vision also helps us cope with disappointments. When we understand that today's struggles are merely steps toward a greater goal, it becomes easier to overcome obstacles. This mindset strengthens our resilience and keeps us motivated. Epictetus taught that it's more important to see the end goal than to get stuck on temporary setbacks. A key aspect of long-term vision is the ability to delay gratification in favor of achieving more meaningful goals. For instance, someone aspiring to advance their career might choose to invest time in education and skill development rather than spending it on entertainment. This choice is not always easy, but it ultimately yields far greater benefits. Patience is the key to success in any endeavor. An example of long-term vision is a gardener planting a tree. They know the tree won't grow overnight and are willing to invest time and care into nurturing it. Years later, the tree will bear fruit, rewarding their efforts. This approach applies to life as well. Every small effort contributes to meaningful results over time. Long-term thinking helps us avoid impulsive decisions. When we consider the future consequences of our actions, we make more informed and wiser choices. This reduces the risk of mistakes and strengthens our confidence. Seneca noted that patience and perseverance are the main virtues of those who aim for success. Focusing on the future also helps us deal with failures. Instead of dwelling on mistakes, we learn to see them as lessons that will benefit us in the long run. The Stoics viewed difficulties as part of the journey that strengthens our character. This perspective enables us to maintain a positive outlook even in challenging situations. Long-term vision fosters discipline. It teaches us to concentrate on important tasks, even when they require effort and time. We stop being distracted by trivial matters and begin to see the bigger picture. This makes us more productive and organized. Additionally, this principle helps us plan our lives more effectively. When we know what we are striving for, it becomes easier to determine the steps needed to achieve our goals. Planning becomes a tool for turning dreams into reality. This is especially crucial in times of uncertainty when a clear plan helps us stay calm. Stoic long-term vision is also tied to the idea of self-improvement. We recognize that growth is a process that takes time and effort. Every day we work on ourselves brings us closer to becoming the best version of ourselves. This inspires us to move forward despite difficulties. An example is someone learning a new language. They know it will take months or even years, but daily efforts, studying, reading, and practicing, gradually build their proficiency. Over time, these efforts turn into skills that bring joy and value. Long-term vision helps us not only achieve goals but also enjoy the process. We begin to appreciate the small steps we take each day. This provides a sense of satisfaction and motivation. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, it is important not only to reach goals but to find joy in pursuing them. Adopting this principle also helps develop resilience to stress. We stop reacting to minor setbacks and focus on larger, more meaningful objectives. This makes us less susceptible to external circumstances and more confident in our path. Long-term vision teaches us patience. It helps us understand that all significant achievements require time. We stop chasing immediate results and start valuing the journey. This quality makes us more resilient and focused. This principle also strengthens relationships. By focusing on the future, we make decisions that foster long-term harmony rather than short-term pleasures. For example, in a conflict with a loved one, choosing understanding and compromise over selfish actions benefits the relationship in the long run. Long-term vision is tied to taking responsibility for one's life. We realize that our actions today shape our future. This encourages us to make more conscious and thoughtful decisions. We stop blaming circumstances and take ownership of our successes and failures. This principle also helps us appreciate the resources we have. We stop wasting time and energy on unnecessary things and instead invest them in what truly matters. This brings more meaning to our lives. Long-term vision cultivates perseverance. We learn to overcome difficulties, knowing they are temporary. This strengthens us and builds confidence in our abilities. Challenges become opportunities for growth. This principle also helps clarify priorities. We begin asking, what is truly important to me? This focus allows us to avoid distractions and concentrate on what matters most. It brings greater harmony to our lives. Long-term vision teaches gratitude. We start to value what we have and work toward what we want to achieve. This creates a sense of balance and fulfillment. We stop relying on external factors for happiness. Ultimately, long-term vision helps us build a life based on our values and goals. We become more mindful and accountable for our choices. This makes our lives more meaningful and enriched. In conclusion, long-term vision is not just a strategy, it is a mindset that helps us see further and build a better future. It is the foundation for sustainable growth, harmony, and success. The 11th principle of Stoicism, wisdom in actions, teaches us to make deliberate decisions guided by reason rather than emotions. In today's world, where spontaneous reactions often prevail, Stoic thinking helps us maintain calm and clarity. Wise actions begin with a pause, providing the opportunity to assess the situation. Marcus Aurelius advised, act only after considering the consequences. When we pause before making a decision, we give ourselves the chance to avoid mistakes caused by emotional impulses. Instead of reacting impulsively, we evaluate our actions in terms of their utility and long-term impact. This is especially important in complex or conflict-ridden situations, where emotions can cloud judgment. Wisdom in actions helps us take a broader view and make decisions aligned with our values. For instance, consider a workplace conflict where anger or frustration might provoke a hasty response. Instead of succumbing to these emotions, a Stoic pauses, reflects on their words, and chooses a strategic approach. This not only preserves relationships but also strengthens their credibility. Epictetus emphasized, we cannot control circumstances, but we can control our reactions. Wisdom in actions allows us to avoid unnecessary arguments. By not letting emotions take over, we maintain inner balance, making us more resilient to external provocations. Rather than engaging in fruitless conflicts, we choose actions that reinforce our inner peace. This principle also applies to life decisions. For example, when faced with a choice between immediate gratification and long-term benefits, a wise person opts for the latter. Whether it's investing in education, breaking bad habits, or developing new skills, such actions strengthen our character and pave the way for personal growth. Wisdom in actions requires discipline and self-control. We learn to manage our impulses instead of letting them dictate our behavior. This fosters a sense of mastery over our lives. Each deliberate decision we make enhances our ability to act consciously. For example, in personal relationships, when a loved one makes a hurtful comment, a Stoic takes a pause instead of responding impulsively. They carefully consider their words and choose a response that fosters dialogue rather than conflict. This approach helps maintain harmony and strengthen bonds. Wise actions also help us manage stress. Calm, measured decisions reduce anxiety, allowing us to focus on what truly matters. This makes our lives more balanced and peaceful. This principle teaches us to prioritize effectively. We begin to discern what is important and what can wait, enabling us to manage our time and energy better. By avoiding distractions, we conserve resources for what truly matters. Every time we choose to act wisely, we reinforce our character. Deliberate, thoughtful actions contribute to our personal growth. The Stoics believe that wisdom is not just knowledge but the ability to apply it in practice. For instance, when faced with criticism, instead of reacting emotionally, we analyze it, extract lessons, and adjust our actions. This enables growth and development. Wisdom in actions is closely tied to understanding our values. When our actions align with our beliefs, we experience inner harmony. This strengthens our sense of identity and confidence in our decisions, reducing reliance on external validation. This principle also helps build healthy relationships. We learn to listen, understand, and respect others rather than impose our opinions. This fosters trust and mutual understanding. People value actions taken with respect and consideration. Wisdom in actions cultivates patience. We stop rushing and learn to wait when necessary, a crucial quality in a fast-paced world. This mindset helps us appreciate the process as much as the outcome. Acting wisely also makes us more efficient. Thoughtful decisions help us avoid mistakes that could cost time and effort, making our work more productive and effective. We achieve more with fewer resources. Wise actions strengthen our resilience to life's challenges. We stop fearing difficulties and see them as opportunities for growth. This builds confidence and fortitude, enabling us to handle any circumstances. This principle also enhances our clarity of thought. By resisting emotional impulses, we see situations as they truly are, allowing for more precise and effective decisions. We avoid being overwhelmed by our reactions. Wisdom in actions teaches us to take responsibility for our lives. We understand that our decisions shape our future, prompting us to act more thoughtfully and intentionally. We stop blaming circumstances and take ownership of our outcomes. It also helps us understand others better. We begin to see their motivations and emotions, making us more empathetic. This improves relationships and helps avoid unnecessary conflicts. Ultimately, wisdom in actions enables us to live in alignment with our values and goals. We become more mindful and confident in our decisions, creating a life that is harmonious and meaningful. Stoicism offers a powerful set of principles that help us build inner strength, maintain clarity of mind, and develop mindfulness in any life circumstance. These 11 strategies act as guiding stars, leading us toward a life filled with meaning, harmony, and resilience. By following these principles, we learn to make deliberate decisions, resist emotional impulses, and effectively overcome life's challenges. Each of these approaches paves the way to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our potential. They teach us to approach difficulties wisely, remain calm, and focus on actions within our control. These strategies not only shift our perspective but also lay the foundation for long-term happiness and success. Try applying just one of these Stoic principles today, and you'll feel how it transforms your approach to life. Every step along this path is a step toward a more meaningful existence, inner freedom, and true harmony. Which of these 11 principles would you like to apply in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your experiences and insights could be a valuable source of inspiration for others. Your support through likes, comments, and subscriptions motivates us to create even more engaging and useful content. Together, let's build a community where everyone strives for wisdom, self-improvement, and harmony.